Okay, greetings everyone. It is I, Dr. Hill, aka Dr. Chef. Happy Motivational Monday. How y'all doing today? Please like and share. And if you have not subscribed, click that little subscribe button. Please make sure that you guys subscribe. I'm supposed to double up this year. Of course, that's part of striving and surviving in 2025. That also means with the work of giving you all free services by coming on live on this busy Monday in this climate in this area. It's considered still a good cold one. Yes, if I open up the windows, you all will see the snow out there. And let's say I'm just thankful that we made it through the snow. How about that? They say you don't know a person until you have to learn them through all seasons. Well, here that applies because you're going to experience all seasons. All right. All right. So thank you so much for whoever it was that's tuning in already, that's liking and sharing. Please share it with someone. It's going to be a good one. No, it's not prepped and stripped. However, I will start off with a few announcements. I wanted to come in at between 12 and 12:30 to give you all a shot for those who say that they be at work and you'll have time to kind of focus. And then after work, it'd be like really hectic because some still have family and your day is going. And so you miss a lot of the live streams that I do because of that time slot between 4 and 5 that I used to be on. And so it's a chance that I might come back at 4 p.m. Not for sure yet. I'm working on my schedule now for 2025. So thank you all so much for tuning in. And I know that means that for those of you all that's tuning in now and the few that'll catch on later, that will see that we already starting off with a bang. I am going to start off by stating that, yes, I am running a special on health consultations, which you all can consider as wellness consultations. That is the deal is $25 for your half an hour consultation for whatever health and wellness conditions that you have under the sun. Okay. And that includes depression. That includes anxiety, which is the same. That includes any form of diseases that you're experiencing in your body, whether you're diagnosed or not. That includes, I need to get on my so-called New Year resolution. I want to lose some weight. I need to lose the gut. I know. I'm working on shedding an extra 7 pounds myself because I did more healthier breads this past year. And I'm learning how to, as an empty nester, I'm learning how to actually just cook for me most of the time now. So I'm with you guys on the journey. Some of us have more than others. So I'm here to motivate you all to not to give up, not to give in, but to let's thrive so that we can survive in 2025. Okay. All right. So we're going to get this going. I don't plan on being before you all long. My goal is between 1 hour. Trying to do better this year too with that as well, you all. And I am going to because the content, of course, now that you all for those of you all that tune in to see about what my broadcasting is about, you all know that I'm very versatile when it comes down to anything that affects our mind, our bodies, and our whole soul. Okay. And so that means that can range from what's going on in the news. That can range from what's going on spiritually, concerning religion, just a tad bit. I don't go as deep as I'm sure you all could tell that I could. However, because certain things just need not to be explained because of what we see that's going on around us. And so that means that sometimes my subject matters may switch and change about here and there. But more importantly, it'll be a whole lot of good testimonies, life learned lessons that I've learned now within this 49 years of life that I've been graced to have. And I say grace because it takes a lot of mercy and grace to even want to thrive, to survive to 2025 with all of the hard work that I've had to do most of my life. And so, and I'm sure some of you all can relate. Hey, your sister Tyra, it's good to see you all. Please like and share. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Thanks for the greet. Shalom, praise God. Assalamu alaikum. All the ashe to everybody in their different dialects. If I could speak every language, I would. As we know, that is the true definition of speaking in other tongues. As the gift of God to give us utterance. Yeah, I got that from Brother DeGaulle. Yeah, we had a session there. I had to tune into the channel, thought to step in with some of my quote unquote what some call the Hebrew brothers, and had a little session on the other day, and they was talking about speaking in tongues, and I said, hey, wait a minute, now you coming down my aisle. I was raised Apostolic Pentecostal, and yes, that is something that is a gift that our people believe that we had in that type of religion. And he asked me about why you don't have an interpreter. Did not Paul state? You all know. Some of you all that come in, you all know from the Bible. You know, it states where the argument is always about Paul stating that it'd be good that we speak English where the people can understand. I'm paraphrasing, so that they wouldn't think that we were crazy. And it's for the edification of yourself, not unto the other person. And so I explained to him how that took about in Acts 2:38, and how that was founded from the Pentecostal perspective. However, saying that to say that today I cannot, even though that's my background and my upbringing, I cannot come before you speaking in another dialect, because my crowd is not Espanol. My crowd is not, for the most part, for what I'm able to see, that do tune in. Most of you all speak English. And so I have to speak English because I want you all to be able to get the full understanding. This is not the time to get so super spiritual and religious, and to uphold doctrines to the point to where our people are lost. Because after all, I do believe that the core problem is that our people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. And then when we do receive knowledge and information, when we do receive testimonies from others that have overcome whatever is ailing us, then there's the application part that we miss, and or that is considered a day-by-day journey. And so that's the reason why I was compelled to start off, as I shared back in December, with Thrive to Survive in 2025. And sometime I may switch around and say, hey, we got to thrive and strive in 2025. Either way, that means you're pressing for the mark of your high calling. Whatever it is that you have been placed here on this earth, or you believe that you have been placed on this earth to do, prayerfully, that's something that's really, really good. And that's something that can help your fellow brother and sister, and yourself as well. And so I'm here to motivate us to, to think about what it is that we have to do in order for us to live a more better and more healthier life. And no, once again, I did not prep, so it's not going to, but yeah, it's not going to take me long. Hey there, Miss G, good to see you all. Please like and share and subscribe, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and get the numbers up there this time. It's not something that I like much saying, but this is the way it works, you all. Yes, it is. It's the way it works. That you subscribe. Once you do the liking, for those that cannot donate towards that I do to help with putting products, with making sure that you all have the best of products like sea moss, which is on sale for $30. You all get a whole month supply of some of the best high quality. I know many say that, but I really do have a high quality of it. If you look on my Facebook page, you just had my brother Ty, he went ahead and shared that, and how he's adding it into his smoothie, and things of that nature. So for those of you all that know, if you go back and check for Wellness Wednesday, I did a part 1 on fasting. And so, yes, I am looking forward to doing that this Wednesday. I am going to try to notify you all in enough time to see whether or not I'll be able to tune in by noon, between noon and 1, on Wednesday as well. If not, I most definitely be aiming to stick with the 4 p.m. schedule. Okay. And so if you cannot, I'm saying all that to say is that if you cannot support by purchasing products that are good for your health and wellness, then or give a donation, then the most simplest free thing that you can do is subscribe, like, and share to someone else, and that's for free. So I will take that because I know everybody's financial situation is the same. No, you cannot grow and become a millionaire really, really quick by considering everyone's income. However, this is the way that I take care of making sure that I have my internet paid for, making sure I have my phone service up so that you all can add, but more importantly, putting back into the products, but yet still not at the point to where I can get that all from you all, because once again, I don't make you pay $2,000-$3,000 just so my content can go viral, because that's what it takes. It takes a couple of grand in most cases for the content to be shared for many people. It's not because people actually like what you do and say on here, unless it's a lot of buffoonery. If we've been honest, or if it's comedy, or if it's music, or if it's a whole lot of good huffing and puffing preaching about the things that you are maybe experiencing something emotional about it, you like it. But even that takes time. It takes a lot of time. And so because I'm not requiring that from you all, I'm thinking it's not too much to ask, just to like and subscribe. And then for those who all, thanks so much, Sister Candy, different ones that tuned in that did to send in the donation that help out. Every bit does really help. And I am prepared and motivated for 2025 to make sure that all the goals that I have set, that I've really asked, I've really prayed really hard about it, and I'm working towards it, that I want to accomplish this year, as far as being more of a service to my people, which are you all, that I be able to do that. And so thank you. Just thank you, because that does help keep me motivated. However, I realize that since I've been caring for people over 30 years now, I'm going to do it no matter what. No matter what. No matter how many ratings I get, no matter how many donations I get, I'm going to do this because it's in my heart to do it. And you hear some people say that, but you know that they don't mean it, because they get angry every time you don't give or every time you don't purchase. Tell the truth and go to heaven. So I was like, that's something for me to smile about, because I'm like, oh my God. I'm be honest, y'all. I'm like, I see a few of us, and it is, to be honest, it do get discouraging when you're providing free services and you're putting all your hard-earned work and money into developing things that's good for you all, and all we can still hear at 49 years of age, I'm here still hearing that we don't support each other enough. It's true. And it is true that other cultures don't care about what your religion is as much. They don't care about whether or not you're their bloodline or not. They don't. This is the reason why they're far more ahead of us. And then there's other parts of the world where, yes, they will work together with having less than more. Yes, being here in America has made a lot of us become greedy, very selfish. And then what happens is that when we get tired of America, then people want to run and go elsewhere, and then you'll still hear them complaining, because, as they say, there's a old saying that you can take the hood out of you can take the Negro out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the Negro. Something along that line. I'm trying to be proper about this. You can change everything. And yes, it can have a good effect on you depending on your environment. But the mentality of what you've been programmed to think of yourself, your people, and how you are, y'all, that takes some time for most. You literally have to get fed up. And what I see is that most of us get fed up once we've made a mess of everything. And then we want to try to get an easier ride somewhere else. Well, you all, from the place I was born and raised in, you can't do that. No matter how much you desire it. Whatever bed you made, they tell us you got to lay in it. And I changed that saying to, oh no, I just need to fix it up. I just need to make it. Make it comfortable. You bought it, you make it comfortable. We have old saying that they have, hey there, sin. And thank you. All the racial division is pure ignorance. Exactly. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much. Thanks for the flag. Let me know where you at in the house. Yeah, it is. And I've been blessed and fortunate at one time in my about 21. I'll share a quick story. And when I was, 20? Yeah, I was 20. Even though I was still working in the nursing field at that time, I pulled two jobs because my granddad had just helped me to get my car, but I had to still pay the car note payment. Um, and I should have listened to my Uncle Frank, because he was like, no, just buy one right out, so you don't have to worry about no bill, daughter, and we'll just help you keep the vehicle up, because they worked on cars. Back in the day, we all had those uncles, those fathers that worked on cars. is not the same anymore. But nevertheless, I wound up doing it and having to pick up a second job. And this second job was working at the airport, on the terminals here in St. Louis, Missouri, the Lambert, St. Louis, Missouri. And oh my God, you had to be really fit and in shape, because the new Terminal E that they were creating was like past a mile long. The moment you would get off, what we had was the Metrolink, and the Metrolink train, it was just developed as well, maybe about 2-3 years in at that time. In the 90s, what was that? That would have been around about 97, 98. And yeah, around about 90s. No, I take that back. That would have been like 95 or 96. I'm remembering now, okay? And so I'm saying that to say that I was meeting these people from all walks of the world, because on the e-concourse, which no one wanted because they didn't want to walk, motivation, determination pays off. I wind up saying, I'll do it. And so there was brothers that was working the carts, where they could, sometimes you could jump on the cart and they'll ride you down. But that was mostly for the handicap and for our elders. And I didn't like the thought of having them to take me down when I had the ability to walk. And so during that time, I wound up losing about 10 or 15 pounds. Then I got down to like 105 pounds. I was really tiny at 5'3", but I kept going. I wasn't practicing how to eat to live and as healthy as I am now. However, through that experience, I started to meet people from all walks of life, because most of the people from out the country, from different countries and continents, would come through the international part of the airport. Okay. And saying that to say that there were so many that came through that spoke a different language. Swahili and all, you name it, they would speak French and all. And I didn't. All I had was a little bit of skills in Spanish, because I took those classes in junior high school. And that wasn't what was mostly coming through, though. It was people from all over Asia, Hong Kong. And I was so in tune. Hear me out. Yeah, I'm going somewhere with this. I was so in tune to our people and making sure that they was receiving what they wanted, whether it was a newspaper, a stick of gum, a drink, whatever. Because some of them would point, but a lot of them would come to me and they were speaking their language. Some said, whoa, because you look like you Ethiopian. So they automatically thought that just maybe you were of another, that you was from another country, because there were some of them that worked there. And I was like, don't ask me, y'all. And I'm talking about the beauty of doing what you're chosen, called to do, but more importantly, striving and thriving and not giving up just because you got bills to pay. But to actually put in the energy and the work, because it doesn't take as much effort to speak. But my God, when you get to walking and working with your hands and having to move about, I had to drag my whole cart down. I had to stack up all of my all of the, what they call their goodies and the newspapers and everything. We had to set up everything before you became the Greek to speak to all these people from different countries. And so I didn't realize, I'm being honest, I didn't realize, I think I shared this once last year. Let me share it again. I didn't realize that I was speaking to the people that was in a different dialect. I knew it when they came to me, but by the time they started talking, because a lot of them didn't know what they wanted. I was already, God had grace on my mind where I was able to still communicate with them. And so finally, my supervisor would come down sometime to relieve me for my break. And he would be like, you having a conversation with the people? This the international with y'all. How is it that you're speaking to them? How is it that you got them to buy so much stuff? And how is it that you got them to do this, that, and the other? And I'm like, I'm looking at him like, what do you mean? He's like, I just saw you talking to those Indonesian people that don't speak English. He said, he would come back and he would come. And so finally I got tired and I said, you know what? I said, I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that in my mind, what was important was the service that I provided for the people. And I literally was left confused myself because I'm like, yeah, you know what? I just knew to just, you all, when I tell you I had over 100 different items, couple of hundred different items on those in that setup that even I didn't know about. I'm saying that left me learning that at 20 years young had taught me that it's what's in your heart, that we don't even really know all of the abilities that we have, you all. I don't think that it's an isolated incident where this has only happened to me. It's just it's not many books that's written out about it. So a lot of times when we don't hear other people's experiences and testimonies, we think that these things don't exist. Well, I'm a living witness here in 2025. Dr. Hill is telling you now that we have these abilities to connect, but I believe that the number one connection is having love, care, and concern, and the willpower, the want to help one another that supersedes even when you're speaking from another language that you were not taught and that's not native to you. That goes beyond what we've been taught. Some of us have been taught from different religions. Meaning your spirit has to be right. This is the reason why I believe that this shouldn't be a hard thing for those of us who claim to be a child of God. My God, if you're saying you speaking for God, or you a minister, or you a teacher, you class, y'all, we have to do better. And it does. It starts with simple things like supporting each other when we are doing good things. And yes, I still say that because we're here on this internet, yes, you do have to proceed with caution. I will not lie. God forbid that I come before you and lie. Yes, you do have to be careful on who you do that for, because I'm already quite aware that there are a few that I personally know that your funds are going towards to literally help, mostly to support their sick addictions, whether it be with pornography, whether it be with little girls, whether it be because they have a love and a hunger for money, but all of it is greed and lust. And unfortunately, we do have those of us who come before you that are so sick in the mind, that really do need to be well, that because they have the gift of what we call the gift of gab, something that mostly us as melanated people are known for. I'm included in that box. Some could say, but it's only it's only for something that I care about, and it's only to those of you all that I believe want to hear and that you feel like it helps. But having that spirit makes it easy not to be angry with you, makes it easy not to feel like, oh, well, they should know me by now. I come before you every day. No, you shouldn't. You only know the service that I provide. You only know what you can pick up when your heart is right. And when I say right, I mean righteous, meaning that most of us can only think of how to support and care and love and take one another serious based off of what we think of ourselves and our experiences. So the experience that I had with dealing with people that were coming from all over the globe of this world led me to know that hate is universal, Biasness is universal. The lack of support is universal, but so is love. So is care. So is wanting to help one another when we're doing our part to really, really do good by one another. All right, I'm looking at chat. Hey there, Brother Brian. It's good to see y'all. Sister Candy, I mentioned you. Thank you so much, Sister Candy, for the donation. It came right on time. It was very helpful. Thank you so much. And different ones, everyone else, Sister Yolanda, she don't miss a beat. She sent in her donation and she helps. Because you all, I'm not gonna lie, in order to get to this place where I wanted to be able to stay motivated to do my motivational Mondays and to be able to supply you all with all of the best of products for your mental health and wellness and all that I see and have to encounter on a day-by-day basis. I did have myself, okay, I'm gonna have to go do this 9 to 5 again because this is not given. But every time I try to make up my mind that I'm going to jump back out into this field, then that's when my beloved brothers and sisters call. That's when somebody said, let me send her a donation so she can keep doing what she's doing, even though she's not coming for us but a few times throughout the week. Even though, I don't know her whole story or what condition she was, she had to, what all she had to go through in order to separate from evil entities. Let me put it like that. Evil entities, very manipulative and very evil entities. But I made it because I believe first in God. I believe it's important that we do that, you all. Somebody, well, I don't know. God let me down. Well, what about the God in you? That's the only way you can strive and thrive in 2025. It's your hands that got to pick up a bottle and say, you know what? I'm going to do this honey today instead of that white sugar that's going to, have my nerves all messed up, or that's going to mess up my kidneys, and that's going to throw me off track, or it's going to cause too many problems for me. It's your hands. It's our hands that have to say, you know what? I'm going to pick up me a book today and read something that's motivating today. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do the chores that I have at home, or I'm going to put my best foot forward and making sure that I do my people's taxes right this year. You didn't think I was going there, didn't you? Yes, tax preparers, do right by your people. Don't do like what happened to me. Yeah, that's happened a couple of years ago. That's actually what helped land me in the hands of what some would call my enemy during the time of COVID. But I learned a lot from that ill spirit, from that sin sick soul. I really learned a lot. And that was because of my tax preparer at the time that I had for almost 10 years, had lost their mother. The depression took over their minds so much. And it didn't matter the job, the work that I gave, had provided for herself or her husband and her children. It didn't matter. That caused her to take off. She fell into drinking and she took off with my tax return at the same time. So for 3 years, I couldn't even file taxes because, one, if I had, this person would have been locked up, probably would have been found and tracked down. And so I waited patiently, y'all. This is part of the surviving and thriving, y'all, that I'm talking about. Even though that's not in this year, I'm using it as an example and as a testimony to tell you that even when your friends turn your back on you, even when your spouse sell you out, and manipulate and pair up with people that's trying to break up the union, even when your children are not acting right, for those who have children, even when the church or the organization that you are part of won't support you as much as they really could, you still got to survive and thrive, you all. We still got to survive and thrive. If you don't have a suicidal mindset, then there is no reason why every day that you wake up and take a deep breath that you shouldn't be saying, okay, Father, Okay, some of y'all say, okay, mama. Some of y'all say, okay, self. It's time to get up and make the devil mad today. Well, that's 90% of my thought every day. As I say, I take pleasure in knowing that we can have sisters like Sister Y'all. Look, you can do a yay special announcement that leads me into that Sister LaShawn. You all remember, just in case of those of y'all that are not on my Facebook page, Felicia, it's still in as Felicia and Jordan, but underneath they'll say Dr.Chef Felicia and the hair is down. I have the black suit on for it because I think it's a couple of pages there, but that one is the main one. You'll know because it has the number with the health products on the in the background. That being said, Sister LaShawn shared for those of y'all that missed it on Facebook that she is cancer free. I said, girl, you done gave me some motivation for today. Hallelujah. Cancer free, y'all. Cancer free. And so I did. These are the things that make my heart happy. Yes, I could did the live stream and try to get her on there, and because I know she's been following us for a few years, and she something in her heart led her right back to me, just like it did with some of you all. Yeah, I know, right? And so I wind up doing a quick live to let them know that I was coming before you all by noon this time. And she wound up tuning in and sharing the news with me. And little did you all know, me and her would be sending texts through Messenger sometimes. So sometimes you all can't get me, for those of you all that do have Facebook. Sometimes you can get me through Messenger. So she would send the thing and I would send her different information because sometimes, as you all know, when you're going through your healing process, sometimes that affects the income of our people. And I fully understand that. And it's just not in my heart to just blatant out ignore you all just because I believe that you're spending your money on hot dogs and fried chicken and other nonsense. Once again, that's your money. But this is my service and this is my life. I can't waste time stressing about, once again, what I've been motivated, what I've been born and birthed to do. I leave that between you and God. If you know that I'm providing you a good, healthy service, and you say, okay, you know what, since she have been sharing some good things to me, since she have been motivating me to treat myself better, to do well by myself, since she have counseled me, I'm gonna go ahead and take this amount out and give to her or purchase something. That's between you and God and your heart and how you do that. Me, I still have to answer to the God in me that says, wait a minute, this sister's not giving up. I can't go and ching her to death. I can. And I could be a millionaire now. And yes, I've been mocked, y'all, just so you know. Not what I'm talking, because, hey, we still in the motivation and the surviving and thriving, where mine may be for providing health and wellness services to you all. For you, it may be in another area. So you can still apply it to whatever it is that you do in your life, even if it's just parenting and you don't feel appreciated enough. Why do you do it? Why do you remain a mother and a father to your children, even when it seems like they've been hard-headed? Why do you continue to wake up and say, okay, honey, I'm going to do this and that for you to your spouse, even though you feel like, or may know they're cheating on you and they're doing other things? Why do you do that? Because it's not always from a broken place. It's not always because of fear. Some of us do it because it's in our heart and it's part of our character. And we don't have give up in our spirit. We don't have room to duck, run, and hide because we made a commitment to something. See how that works? And so I've paired up, I've asked God to allow me to only pair with those who made a commitment that's willing to keep it. Not to those who, because the money gets low or because I don't have enough shares or like on this internet or because my donation is not fat enough or because you're not helping me enough, oh, I'm gonna hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more. I can't do that. No more than a mother will leave her child just because the child is sick, or just because a child need you have to do more training to this particular child. No more than a wife or a husband do it for a spouse and say, you know what, I don't like your attitude, you're really breaking me down. No more than they will leave theirs. This is the way we are supposed to be able to operate in servicing one another, you all. It's the same part of the emotions. It's the same part of the mind, the way we think. You have to think that very thing, whatsoever man think it, so is he within himself. The work goes forth, and then we as the people began to become the judge one to another, whether or not we believe that your service is good enough for us. Your work going forth, and this is the reason why I can afford to play around with spirituality, or quote unquote doctrine and religion, because I've lived long enough and grew up in this thing long enough to know that there's levels to this thing, and it goes beyond writing a book. It goes beyond how well you can speak. It goes beyond that, even though that gets the most attention and it can make you the most money. It has nothing to do with the heart of that man or that woman. And so I can't allow you all on this Motivational Monday, myself, to get caught up in the fact that, oh, some will say, hey, I wouldn't do it, or hey, I'll go ahead and use all of your skills and your talents. You got to do something else, because these people, they ain't going to take care of you unless you scare them into taking care of you, unless you curse them into taking care of you. Once again, you all keep your minds righteous. And the only way you can do that is by praying to your God of this universe, that he help heal our mind, our bodies, and our whole souls. I'm a firm believer in that. And nobody that I've met within the recent years can change that, because I watched it. I watched people live and die in falsehood, just like you all have. And so I believe those of us who's left here that still have to thrive and survive in 2025, it is only our reasonable service. It's only your duty, whether you be compensated or not. Compensation, though, is needed. But I'm saying it because it matters. This is what's causing our leaders to get stressed out, y'all. This is what's causing marriages and families being broken apart, because this is work to so many. It is work for me too, because there's a lot of gifted things that God has blessed me to do. Someone just asked me the other day, do you still sew? When people misuse older people, that's a different. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. When you abuse your elders and you misuse your elders and children, I'd say and children, because there's a certain type of narcissism and egotism that comes into play. And I know, because I'm a parent, there's levels to this thing. And then it does matter how you have been treated, and whether or not you've been healed during the process of being placed in a position, or placing yourself in a position of leadership. That really does affect how well the people will be that come in contact with you. And so I realized that on these nets, and I have to speak it because that's where I'm at. I'm on this net, that it's the perfect place to hide what you do behind closed doors. I can leave off this now and say I have to be done within an hour, y'all. I can say that I got to be done an hour, and because I got another appointment and not have nothing to do, but I just wanted to be done in an hour, because I knew that if I came before you, I'm gonna get paid. So since this is part of my work and I provide the service, I'm gonna tell them this so that I don't have to worry about having to work for the next few hours or the next few days until I appear again. So you justified your lie. Yeah, I had to be careful with stuff like that because I cannot motivate. I cannot inspire. I can't focus on what I have to do with lies clucked up in my head about how much I had to lie in order to get you all or anyone to support me. I can't operate like that. Some people are good at that. Oh, trust me, I know. Y'all know I know. They're excellent at it. I mean, but that is the deal breaker. If you can't treat your mama right, except for if she's qualified and doing as well as you want her to do, if you charge your mama, and yeah, I'm not trying to judge nobody. I'm telling you where my heart lies. My mama ain't never had to pay for nothing when she was in the land of the living because I knew I couldn't pay her for birthing me, especially as a teenager. And being the mature kind of mother that she was, given that most children couldn't experience having a mother that could put a roof over your head and keeping a clean home and making sure you have a meal every day and making sure that you're protected for the most part from anything that can cause hurt or danger to you for the most part. And so I realized that, but it took some time, you all. Bottom line is that I can't pay her back for that. And there are so many that would use it as an excuse not to do right by their children. My father, I could say the same. Oh, well, he's 18 years old and you know had it all. He could have said, I want to go ahead and become a football star and I want to get my fitness and wellness on. You know, I ain't got time for no babies, you know, since we didn't marry right away, he could have did a lot of things. May he rest in peace. And I realized that, but see, you got to have a heart to want to see things from other people's perspective, not just from your parents, but from other people's perspective in order to respect them. It goes both ways. You can never be an idiot to me because there's other words that don't hold so much of a low vibration, so much that doesn't do as much damage. That's a sign of someone that is very abusive, verbally abusive and physically abusive to themselves first and to others. That should not be hard for us to do. And no, none of this just people will lie and say, well, it come because I've been trained to be this way. No, it's in your spirit. It came in you. Some people are like that from birth because that's what was what was coiled in the DNA of their parents. Y'all, I know what I'm talking about. I lived with it. So I'm here to motivate you all to keep pushing forward no matter what. Keep asking the questions. If we come before you all providing any services and you have to pay for your internet, you got to pay for your phone. We're the ones that made the decision to come before you all to provide a service. Get on their nerves. You heard it from Dr.Chef. Make them work for your attention. As my elders used to say, ain't nobody mad but the devil. Ask the question a billion times because see, you're helping your brother and your sister to work some patience in their soul. They gonna do it because they're addicted to the money. They're gonna do it because they're addicted to the attention. I promise you. Listen to me now. Y'all, I would not lie to you. That's the big sis talking to me when I had to talk to my younger siblings back in the day, and they be discouraged, or then I had to speak to some of my younger cousins, and they feel some type of way about getting out of shape or not feeling their best. And so I've been at this for a while. College, being in college and taking communication courses did not teach me this, y'all. I promise you it didn't. It's been in me since I was a child. As my auntie would say, yeah, she's always been a little old soul. I'm saying this to say that y'all, and I'm laughing about it because I know that it's so critical that when we say that we're going to do something, and I don't mean that just because we can't come before you all sometimes. I mean, when we say we're going to do something and you know that this would be good for the mind and the soul of our people, it's important that each one teach one. That not only that I come before you all to teach something or to share something, but that you all teach us too. Yeah. And the only people that's irritated by that is people that's underdeveloped, that's immature. It's one thing to know how to make money. It's another thing to know how to speak. But it's another thing to be, I'm going to say it again, to be held accountable for the nonsense. Or as some of y'all like to say, the BS. I don't think it's no secret now on this motivational money that I'm not one for the nonsense. And I don't have to yell to say that. And you don't have to be not a one idiot. You don't have to be stupid. You don't have to be, now you can be ignorant of certain things. And I love that my brother Tim shared that with us in our study group, that yeah, he made me rethink about that word ignorant. And it just, if you look at the base word, yes, the base word does mean to ignore. But then I looked at the part where it said rant. I'm like, so you're going to ignore the knowledge and you're going to go on a rant too about it? Y'all, you got to do better. That's all I'm saying. We all have to do better. And so I'm here to help you all with that. Don't forget to call in via text in. And also, Linda, maybe, oh yeah, yes I am. You know, who is that told me that they in as a CN? Refresh my memory. Yep, May baby. You know, we not for the nonsense. We have to grow up. We in that season. Somebody help my memory some. I got so much on my mind right now. See it. Text that to me. Who you be? Oh, Courtney, yeah. How you doing, Courtney? Good to see you. I was like, wait a minute. I'm trying to remember who is he. Okay, yeah. All right. How you doing, Courtney? And I'm like, that's something that it's coiled in my DNA. I can't help that. I don't want to, because then that means that we stop growing. And if I don't grow, then how can I attach myself to the next plant? Since we are the biggest plant, the greatest creation that we know of that God made, how can I affect? Remember, I know the saying. You all know the saying that one spoiled apple, one bad apple can destroy the whole bunch. Remember that saying? So you put it in there. But the truth, y'all, I discovered the truth is really, even though that is technically true that it can attach on because of the parasites, that once something starts to spoil, it can start eating at the other fruit. Let's see yourself as the fruit that is too close to it. Even though that is true, I found out that it's also because we don't have covering. And the covering goes beyond just having for a woman to have a husband as a covering. It goes beyond that. Your covering can be symbolic or just be that you've learned how to cover yourself with prayer. You've learned how to cover yourself with making sure that you have the right type of friends around you that knows what your Achilles heel is and knows what some of your weaknesses, and they don't use it against you, but they actually try to help to support you. Kind of like how you get your paper towel. Remember when I want to demonstrate how you had the paper towel, and I told you with the fruits. I found out, and it's on TikTok too, you all, where if you get fruit, you can cover your fruit, like the papaya that I had. If you cover it with a paper towel, then you can keep it. It will stay. It will stay right. It won't spoil as fast. It'll last longer, a week or two. The same with lettuce. The same with the bananas. You know, if you wrap that banana, the tail of that banana. One second. I like to demonstrate. If you wet the tail of that banana, y'all, thank you all for staying with me. See those bananas? See these little ones? These are the little baby ones, y'all. These are the baby ones. See how small they are? Now, you see the part is you take that and you wrap that up. You wet that towel and you wrap it up. Some people put a little tape around it. that would preserve that banana. Now I let mine ripe on purpose because I want to take the sweetness. I want to taste it because I use these for my smoothies, right? The little baby ones are the ones with the seeds in it, right? Well, that's how we have to be with our lives. In order to strive and to survive in 2025, you all, that's how we have to be. You have to get a covering, whether that be your church, whether that be your mosque, whether that be your family, whether that be your mate. You have to get that protection around you from evil people and evil thoughts that come to discourage you, to cause depression, to cause stress while you're fasting. I know so many are on different fasts for the whole month. Some are on for a week, some on for 14 days, some on for 3 days. Whichever one that you're on that's best suited for you, you have to make sure that you're setting yourself in that environment so that you can succeed, so that you can survive. We can only focus on this month right now because we don't know what next month holds. You don't even know what all it holds. And so that's how I like to think. And that's what I would like to inspire us to focus on as we enter into this year. That no matter what it is that your task is, no matter what you've been called and chosen to do it, but do it with love and do it with grace. Because then that way, if the money run out, that way, if the business don't work out all right, that way, if your spouse take off and act a fool, that way, if your children don't act right, you still have a strong enough heart to survive and strive in 2025. All right. Is that good enough? Hey there, Sister Dorothy. Hey there. That's how I do my parsley and cilantro bunches, and they last longer. Absolutely, absolutely. And hey, Miss G, I have a thing about the unconditional. Thank you so much, Sister Candy. I have a thing about the unconditional love. I do, Miss G. I'm learning. I'm learning just like you all are. And I'm just sharing what I learned in hopes and prayers that it helps someone. I tell you this, I do realize there's no such thing as unconditional love. Hear me out. Hear me out. Don't fade away right away. You want to know why? It sounds good. And yes, I am a lover to my core, to those who I can trust and those who I am providing services for. Did you hear the condition? To those who I can trust and to those who I provide services for. That's a condition. So God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. Speaking to my Christian brothers and sisters now, if you believe that, that was a condition. Muslim brothers and sisters teach that Allah went forth and he shall return on the motherships for his people that have been oppressed for 400 years, for the African Americans here that's been in 400 years of slavery here in America. They teach that. That's part of the teaching. Because he loves us. That's a condition. What was the criteria? There was a criteria. You have to be of a certain ethnic background, and you have to be and suffered something, and you have to believe. It's always a condition. I love my baby because I love my daughter because what's the because for? I just love her. We can't just say that we just love one another, just that I love Dr.Hill. I love Dr.Chef. It's going to be followed with a reason, a why. That's a condition. Why do fools fall in love? Okay, I just messed with it. Why do fools fall in love? Okay, y'all know I had to break it up a little bit. Here goes. I love my husband because. Right? You get what I'm saying? There is a because. You would not allow that man to get you. Well, let me say, most would allow him to get you if he didn't show you that he cared more than at that time that he cared more than, or act like he cared more than the other options that you may have had, or may not. You would have chose that wife if you thought with here it is 100 women to one here in America, and then you think that. And that's the reason why it doesn't make no sense. Yes, that's just someone that has a spirit of laziness and that have really other strong mental issues. If you say you can't find nobody in a whole country to love, I mean, you really got some conditions. And I promise you, in most cases, the conditions is quite warped. I said in most cases. And the reason why I'm confident about that is because I've seen the success rate and an alarming rate, which is not success. Because then they still have to learn how to love one another from a different condition, meaning from another tradition, from another everything. And they don't understand. And this is the reason why you see so many of our people, and the reason why you got a whole country that's saying we'll pay our Black men this such and such and such amount of money just to go and be with Chinese women. That was a condition. Can any of them say that they went because they love the woman? Or did they take on the condition where they're not bribed into it, just like you see in other countries where they can pay to get a wife? Well, in what condition? They cannot say that they love them. Well, you know, today marriage is what do we say? It's a business. It's a business contract. Once you sign the paper, it's a business contract. Everything you do is going to be some form of business. If you decide to buy a home, build a home, you decide to pay bills. If you have to pay bills and you haven't got no inheritance, everything you do when you had a child, somebody's going to have to provide. There is a condition. That's just my point. It's just something that stood out to me. I'm not criticizing thought. I know it's a popular thought, but as time has gone by, I realized that yes, we have conditions to love, you all. And I'm here to motivate you to know that just because there are conditions to love, it doesn't mean that you have to give up on yourself because you don't feel as much love, or that because you don't believe that you're getting enough support in that is good that you do, that you have to offer to us while we're here on this earth. You have to love now I'm going to say with it, we do have to learn how to love ourselves. And how does that start? How do you get to a place where you learn how to love yourself, Dr. Hill, even when life has thrown you all these type of monkey wrenches? How do you do that when you are at a place to where you feel like every choice and decision that you made that's been major has shifted your life upside down? How do you do that when you want to keep your loved ones here, and here they are, they're dying like flies because they're being destroyed because of the lack of their knowledge, or because they allowed themselves to be ignorant to Satan's devices? How do you get through that, Dr. Chef? How do you smile? How do you be happy for someone else and their marriage and your marriages have not worked out? How do you be happy for the success of somebody else's child, and here it is, you have special needs children? How do you? Your love had a condition on it. I tell you what mine is, and maybe that'll encourage you all to ask God to help you with that for yourself. Mine is, the condition is that you've been made by God. The condition is that out of all of the billion of people, the trillion of people that's on this earth, that if God allowed, even through the internet, for you to be attracted enough to something that I'm saying or doing for whatever reason, then that means to me that you've been called and there's a purpose for it. And that it's still my job, it's still my duty to say and provide a service that will help encourage you to survive and thrive in 2025. That's my condition of love and service to you all. It's simple. It didn't have nothing to do with what country you come from. It had nothing to do with how many children you have. It didn't have anything to do with whether or not you were single or married. It didn't have anything to do with how much money you send in to support me or not. It had nothing to do with whether or not you 500 pounds or whether or not you are 120 pounds. So I encourage us to all think about it. While you're learning how to survive and thrive in 2025, with whatever wellness journey that you're on, whatever spiritual journey that you're on, that we just keep in mind the conditions of how we love each other through the process. Because there's some conditions. It's a condition. Okay? All right. I know, Miss G. I know you didn't expect me to go here like that. I know you didn't. It's all I love. I promise you. There you gave me material. I had to take it. I had to use it. I told you I didn't write down the script, y'all. I did not write down the script. I did not. I couldn't. I am going to do better this year. I am going to do better this year. But with the grace of God, I'm going to do better this year and give him more content. But it was just important that I tuned in at the time that I was close enough to the time that I was able to see how many of you all could tune in. And yes, I do. I do have an extended friend there that I do have to counsel you all in a few. As soon as they call, I do have to counsel. So that's the reason why I say if I come before you all at 12:30, it'll be close to about an hour. This is me getting my foot wet, as the elders used to say, with my foot wet in this noonday. But before I leave, just note that I still do have the supernatural sea moss, you all. I do have that in. You can mix with smoothies and all. I'm gonna be happy. God's will, I'll be able to come before you all on Wednesday. I'll be happy to tackle this thing about smoothies and juicing and all this. I'll be happy to do that. And whatever other questions you guys go get your stuff prepared. It's 2025. We got this. We done gathered so much information now. We got enough content. We got enough stuff that we can really, really, truly talk about. It's no problem. And once again, you don't allow anyone to discourage you and make you feel like you should have this completely down packed to the T just because it's on the board. I understand that when we are sick within the mind, and especially when we have depression that we're fighting, so many people have distractions, ADHD, what they label attention deficit disorder, whatever that is. It means that you're easily to be distracted. I am sometimes too, but God knows. I say exactly how I meant it. God knows if I allow somebody to diagnose me with something that obviously happens when you're a quick thinker, or when you're one that just notice things. See, this is how you know that we live in a sin sick world, because part of your awareness of your surroundings, I can hear a dog coming, tells you that if it's not on a leash and he sounds like he's growling, you better have ADHD. Yeah, you better have attention deficit. Is that where you at? Oh. So you can get out the way. You hear shooting, pow, 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 pow. You better have attention deficit disorder where you're able to respond. You're by a window. Duck. Common sense. So I want to tackle stuff like that, you all, okay? I told you, it's all about just learning how to have some common sense through this process. And that helps to alleviate a lot of confusion. It helps to alleviate a lot of stress while you're on your health and wellness journey. This also includes your spiritual journey for those who say, I want to have a closer relationship with God. I want to be my best me in 2025. This is how we do it, you all. This is an everyday bout. This is an everyday journey. And so I did it. I was a little nervous coming for you all at this time, because I'm like, will my brain work? Because I haven't eaten anything yet. I haven't taken my smoothie in yet. I'm looking at these little baby bananas, and Yeah, I want to chop her all through them, like a runaway slave that's been starving for 3 days. But I can't. I can't. Mind over matter. You know, look, know that I love, love, love you all. Know that I love, love, love you all. And I'm like I said, maybe because I know there is a crowd that come in at 4 p.m. If I'm finished with my meeting in enough time, maybe I'll be, well, oh, come on now, Miss G got something to say. I mean, okay, because I was getting ready to, as I said, I'm finna close now. What should I call that type of love? I left person whom I known for 30 years and loved despite his imperfection, but his spirit and soul is dark. I will not look back, but I will always have love. Oh, I feel you, sister. Oh, God. Oh, I feel you, sister. That type of love is conditional because what you call that is the love of God. What I would call that is the love of God, the agape love, wherewith, even though you've known someone for over 30 years, I can say that about my first husband, my children's father. I've known him for over 30 years. And yes, honestly, yes, I saw a darkness and I had to encounter that darkness. And I put my all, but we've known each other since we were teenagers. But I could not find myself. I could not bring myself to trust being able to stay even after almost 15 years of marriage. I could not find myself being in a place to where I could stay and have to be nervous about everything that every move I made, just because a high praise of, oh, this my Proverb 31 woman is here, just because on the outside I'm getting praised, but in the inside I'm in constant criticized. And inside I'm dealing with a whole lot of childhood trauma. I'm trying everything that I could to deal with the certain darkness. And if, as a mother, it boils down to what's safe for my children. And so I did. You seek a lot of counseling, but I don't believe that people should circle back when you know a person. And when the effects of knowing that person and their darkness has an effect on you to the point to where it stops your growth, to the point to where it it causes too many confusions within the mind, to the point to where you start getting nervous, you know. And so I had to deal with that. I can relate, Miss G. And so I'm glad that you put that out there. I believe that you can be friends and be cordial with people that you've had long term, whether it be marriage, whether it was a family member, a best friend, or anything. But once they show you that they are struggling too much, and the too much is going to vary based off of your heart, what you can handle. And that varies just like a person's healing, or what we call a diet, varies. Your body is not my body. Your mama is not my mama. Your daddy, I may have to question to find out, because my father had a lot of children. But you get the point. It's going to vary from person to person. And so, yes, that type of love is just agape love. I wish you well, but over there. I had to do it this time around, you all. You all know the same. We're going to go by the name Mow, M-O-W. Look, I love you, and it is a struggle because of the amount of damage in such a short period of time that took place with all of the success. But the darkness that I had to encounter within the past 3-4 years was such at a level to where, even though we could have made a lot of more money off of you all, even though we could have helped a whole lot of more people in health and wellness because of the internet exposure and the traveling around the world, my heart, my spirit, you have to know your own. I can't take a certain amount of darkness and evilness behind closed doors and then come before you all constantly and act like, yeah, it's not a saved face, girl. You better watch me, girl. That cash out and that Zelle and that Zinger is ringing up. It's racking up. Woo, we curse again. Call somebody a dummy again. Oh, yeah, it's ring. Oh, yeah, ring it up. Oh, wait a minute. Sister just left a long email text, and the brother did too, and said how you done hurt their feelings and you done that. I can't do that. Wait a minute. Did you just slap that child in the mouth like that and they didn't even hear you? They wasn't even in close proximity. The list goes on and on and on. Wait a minute now. I can't do the nasty on the phone. I can't. Wait a minute now. These are white folks. This is pornography. Wait a minute. You said what to your ex-wife? You called her what? It's certain things that you cannot. I'm giving examples. I've experienced all of those things when dealing with certain individuals. And still, that is the challenge. That's the part where I'm saying where we have to grow up. We have to. I'm the May baby. I'm born in the season, this spring, the very end of spring, going into the summertime. It matters, you all. Don't let nobody trick you. Oh, God. They talking about horoscopes. Talking about the season. Your season does matter. Why would it be significant for someone to make you think that it doesn't? When they out in the back of their garden, gardening all day long, having to pay attention, being a human almanac, all on the phone trying to find out, wait a minute, when is the weather so I can see when I can grow my butternut squash, when the weather so I can see and checking back and forth. Wait a minute, how big is the watermelon? So it's Dorothy, know how big is the watermelon? That's how you're supposed to be doing with your life. That's how we're supposed to do with each other, with how you want to grow. Just like you want to see that watermelon grow, just like you want to see that pretty flower, that lily grow. We got to check our lives like that. And it's a beautiful process, even though you may get a little impatient, even though you might get a little dirt or a whole lot of dirt. Well, we got gloves for that. I talked about it earlier, just now, protection. That's why you got to have a covering. Not a covering doesn't just represent a husband. And that only matters women. Can I speak direct to our women? Men put it on the shelf. But technically, it can be applied to them too. It depends on what kind of cover you got on. See, I got a blanket that I like. I'm a snuggle bug. I like to snuggle. I'm a snuggler. So all my blankets has to be nice, warm, and soft. I like them nice, warm, and soft. It don't matter the price. I like nice material. I don't have on a healthy material right now. I had to just grab something clean to throw on. But my point is that I like satin. I like linen. I like material that's not loaded with a lot of chemicals. And yes, they are loaded, you all, for the record. Even if you got to pay a couple of dollars more. That being said, that's the same when it comes down to your relationships and your covering. How it makes you feel. And that's why, I know a lot of us women get got like that because, I say, you're a woman, she got all these emotions. Bust out with your Mariah Carey, emotions. We got emotions because we were created to have emotions. Emotions are your senses. If you don't feel when them contractions coming, and you just said that, I promise you're going to drop that baby on the floor. You're going to give labor on the floor. If you want to act like you can ignore the senses, the emotions in the ocean of that belly, for those of us who've been impregnated, and ignore that smell when something is spoiled to where the point where you're getting sick at that. That's an emotion. That's your sensory going out to affect the nervous system and say, wait a minute. I just had a sister share with me. I'm not going to say names because I wasn't given permission, but it's a powerful testimony. And she said she got married for the second time around. Didn't realize what had taken place. I take that back. Not second time, but she got married. But what happened is that she was molested. And I counsel for that too, you all, just for the record, just in case you forgot. She was molested by her uncle, by one of her uncles, for years. And she hadn't seen him in years because of the separation with her coming from the broken family setting. So when it was time for another big family gathering, what happened is that when she saw the one that violated her for years, mind you, she's well over up in age now. She passed 40. She said, I had to hide behind my husband. She said, I hid. I was behind him. And she said, but I felt. But it started in the mind. She remembered. And this person had not been persecuted for this, had not been judged, had not had to take accountability for this. Like in most cases with us, which that has to stop. And so she went and hid behind her husband. She stood, just her natural ability, emotions went into hiding behind her husband. Thankfully, she had a covering that went into protective mode. Basically, let them know, you can't come speak to her. You owe my wife an apology. I don't care how many degrees you got. I don't care about who you think you are. The kind of covering matters. Now, I experienced that part of something like that in my life, you all. So I'm not just speaking of someone else's testimony. So what happens is that when that covering start to get old and crumpish, or it gets too nasty, you can't feel the comfort from it anymore. If a husband had turned around and looked at it and said, you know what? Well, that's your mom and daddy fault. That ain't on me. You're a grown woman. Go ahead and stand up to him. You mean to tell me you still scared even though I'm here? The coldness of it. If he had responded to her in that way, do you think that she would be able to make it through her healing process? Do you think that she would feel like she has a proper covering? Absolutely not. So our feelings and our emotions matter, you all. Now, if you know that you suffer from extra anxiety and depression from these type of experiences, nervousness, I don't know about you all or others that may have experienced it. See, I got blocked because I eat organic meat, or because I said I can do 40 straight pull-ups in the gym. Ain't that crazy? Absolutely, that's crazy. Because it's a fact that our people can still live and thrive, even if you have not eliminated yourself from eating what you consider clean meat. Because these things, that's what I'm saying. We have to get to a place to where you realize, once again, what is teaching you, what spirit is teaching you. And this is the reason why I believe God allowed my separation, me to not to have to worry about mean, cruel, Andre, manipulative coverings. No more than I would allow myself to have a dirty covering over me. It's cold outside. I'm just not going to go outside, but I'm not finna grab a dirty coat. I'm not getting ready to grab something that's too thin either, that's meant for the summertime, because it ain't going to cover me properly. How you are taught matters. They say it all the time. For those of us who have children, you notice they say, okay, well, if you only beat your child all the time, then that's the only level of discipline that they understand. So when you send them to school now, and the teacher saying, "Little Johnny, don't do that. Don't kick the other child." And you're like, oh, whatever, because they've been raised with the hand. But if someone talks, and that goes in that translates over to how people talk to people. Oh, well, you're a stupid idiot for doing that. See, that's just one language. All of the extra name callings, all of the degrading words, these are signs of people that have been bullied themselves. These are signs of those who have allowed themselves to be bullied over, especially if you're a full-grown adult and you're still doing this. We all know where that comes from. Ain't no need of us trying to hide that. But what happens is that because of the mercy and grace that God gives a lot of us, when we see that there is something good that a person is doing, we got this real bad, but we'll choose to ignore. Ignore ignorance. Ignore, and then we go on a rant about it. But you ignore. I know, I've done it. I've done it. You ignore, well, but that's why I say love is conditional. There is a 10th commandment because there is a condition to those who believe in the Bible that thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not, and then the crazy part about it is that we talking about killing meat and eating deadly meat. And of course, I'm not a meat eater either. So, and it's because of these things. But my thing is that most of us is teaching now done ate enough to feed Africa of meat. And so, yeah, it is a little bit more easier to go ahead and holler, don't eat meat when you done sit back and you done pegged out on meat all the days of your life practically. And now that you done gotten sick and you done been diagnosed with something and your whole line done died off. Now all of a sudden it's an urgency for everybody else to not be able to make it through that process and ask questions or say, oh, well, I'm not eating fried chicken every day. I only eat clean meat. Hold it. They done had almost 30, 40 years of eating deadly stuff. So that's what you're going to get out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaking. It ain't just going to speak life. It's going to speak death too. And then the excuse is, this is the reason why I'm very technical about religion and doctrines. Well, the Bible said you ain't the Bible. Well, Jesus said you ain't Yeshua. Allah said you are not him. Confucius said you are confused. This is the reason why I don't play with these type of things. And this is the reason why I can't be married to it either. Because people like to present themselves as angels of light when they have darkness in them and too much of it. I'm not talking about melanation within the skin. When you don't know, when you have not, the saying is true. Hurt people can hurt people. When you allow them to get too close, that's the reason why this internet works for so many people, because they ain't got to get real super close in person. That's the reason why it works for people, just to teach at people and talk to them and tell you what you need to do. But then, this doesn't apply to me because I've been bullied too, and I lost loved ones too. I've been treated bad too. Accountability is everything. That's what you all come to me for 2025. Like, share, subscribe. My Motivational Mondays will always be centered around being realistic about where we are as far as the love in our heart, how we are growing mentally, spiritually, and naturally, how we can rightly divide things, and no matter what level you are on in your life, no matter what path you are on in your life. That is the ability that God has granted me. And I take it with much humility, and I take it with much sincerity, and always praying every day. Okay, Father, give me the right thing to say, because I can get teed off too sometimes when I see how people are being hoodwinked and bamboozled. I can too, though. See, I get upset about other things. The things that so many of us have fallen for. so many things that I have fallen for. And because I do realize some of us are stronger in certain areas than others. And those of us who are more mature and more stronger in those areas, I do believe that we do have a great responsibility to give some of that strength, some of that wisdom, and that testimony over to you all in order to help you to overcome, or at least to plant the seed in the mind that you can make it through this. You can. You can grow up from this. You can survive and thrive in 2025. But you got to make sure that you're covering, and what's going into those ears is healthy for you mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. We got millions of people out here toting the Bible. Everybody got their own interpretation. We got thousands of motivational speakers. Not too many of them are women, though, I notice. And that's by design, too. Even though we have to carry the weight of the world in our whole womb and soul. How are you going to be considered to help me to a man if it doesn't mean there's more in you to help him? How is it that we were designed to birth a nation, or you were birthed by a woman who helped birth the nation? But yeah, that don't mean that 75% of the work is not with you. It's with us, on us, and all. And in order for someone to work with you, in order for someone to teach you effectively, it has to be with a condition of love. You can't do that sloppy. You could do it only for a period of time, but it's not gonna last. And eventually, what you dish out is gonna come right back to you. That's just how it works. I'll never forget. A person asked me, Doc, drop that life game from the right. Okay, I like that rhyme. Just said, drop that life game from the right brain. This wisdom is priceless. Always dropping jewels. Thank you, sister. Keep me in prayers. Or brother, I'm sorry. But yeah, you all, it's just by the grace of God. Just only by the grace of God. And you can all imagine I've had to go through it in order to get to this point, because I remember years ago when I was going wrestling with seeing the darkness in the person that I married, that I had all my children by. And I remember thinking, Father, why me? Why? I was a good girl. I did everything that my mom and my daddy told me to do. I did everything that the pastor told me to do. I read my Bible, my word every day. I helped take care of my siblings and their children and extended family members. I worked in this health care field until I couldn't stand seeing them killing people left and right through malpractice and all sorts of other things. I gave my life to this. Here we go. Why me? And finally, after I got finished with my pity party, he said, you prayed a prayer. You put it out there in the universe that you wanted to know what was ailing your people. Why was so many falling to the wayside? Why are so many falling into depression? And right then and there, you all, while I was standing outside looking up to the sky and the sun, I saw my life fast forward from that point forward. This was in 2012, I believe. I saw it fast forward of all the things that I was going to encounter. I couldn't make out everything. Some of it was good, some of it was bad. And I had to take a deep breath. I had to step back and I had to take a deep breath. I said, whew, yeah, I got to go through all of that just to understand the why? And I immediately started to cry and hurried up and tried my best to walk right back into the house. But as I was walking, I saw a husband and wife team They used to pass out spiritual tracts, y'all. That I knew from another church. I knew of them. And I tried to hear it because I said, man, I know they're getting ready to try to witness to me, and I don't need that right now. I'm going through some stuff right now, and I done got double cross. This is the first. This is the first double cross. This is the first stat. And I said, I'm just gonna take it in stride, and I'm just gonna do the best that I can. Yeah, my life ain't been the same since. I've been learning lessons after lesson after lesson, and that is what life is all about, you all. I can't tell you how each one of your journey is going to be. I can't tell you how you're going to get through all of it, but I can tell you this much. Having that communication with God for yourself can give you far more strength than I can or anybody in this whole wide world can. But you got to want it. You got to want to live. You got to want to strive. You got to want to survive. You can't have a martyring spirit, a suicidal spirit, and make it through life. You can't. So this is the reason why you're covering, and what you allow in your ear canal is vital. It's vital in your health. You ever seen where people be on their deathbed, whether you experienced it through your job or you've seen it on the movies? And every time when they're in the conscious, when they unconscious, you notice they always have somebody, once they come through, they have somebody speaking life into them. You never hear them saying, yeah, die. Yeah, just die. Yeah, that's what you get. You should have did this. You should have did that. You should have ate that meat. You should have. What happens? The blood pressure starts going up because it's been noted that when you're unconscious, that it says the subconscious can hear on the outside what's been said to them. Well, y'all, some of us is living that while we alive, and you're conscious. You got somebody keep telling you what's going to happen to you in a negative way if you don't stop this, that, and the other. And my God, they're practicing the same thing. And because they don't see themselves on that deathbed, or maybe they do. Maybe that's what it takes for them to keep going, is all of that negative energy, all of that name calling. Maybe that's what it takes for them. And they're projecting that on you because they never learned how to nurture and truly care. But read, it's nothing to read. Just to learn how to read, yeah, you can read. I could speak once I learned how to speak. But to care, to actually truly care and love, you only know that when you got to stick with it. The commitment. We know what people care about today mostly. Attention. I've proven that I can be before here and only have a few people tune in. Because I'm speaking life into myself too while I'm speaking to you all. That's how that works. I don't just I don't just look at the chat and say, oh, look at this right here. No, I'm hearing myself as I speak. And no, I don't have a planned script on it either. So I know it's coming from the depths of my soul. I know it's coming from the memory of how I made it through the storm and the rain. And I'm telling you that I've heard other testimonies and other people's life stories, and it's the same. When you are on your wellness journey, your spiritual journey, your natural journey, only speaking life will help give you life, not death. If my focus is just deadly meat, but every time you look up, you know they out of your mouth, I'm going to tell you the reason why it gets warped. Well, how we can practice both. As they say, the Bible is a two-edged sword. Well, some people's tongue, it says life and death lies in the tongue. That means that we can speak two different languages, some many. We have to learn how to identify when you're hearing two different languages. And that was my thing. Once I identified that, wait a minute, you can't tell me that you need me to help you on one hand, and then the moment I help you and I give you a helping hand, you bite me. I'm only going to let you bite me so many times And that's only if I got the patience to let you by the first time. Y'all, we can't allow ourselves to be bit in the midst of your healing process. It's painful enough to learn what it takes to make it in life today. It is painful enough to find out that you have been ignorant or you have ignored knowledge that can help set the captive free. I know about y'all, but this May baby, Esther something like the cause. It's hard for me to learn something and find out that it's some knowledge and it's a better way of doing something, or even something as simple as learning how to wrap them. I didn't know this for years. I'm like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me we've been rushing to eat our bananas for trying to get them within a couple of days, and all I had to do was take a doggone paper towel and wrap it up? Who been holding back this information? That's the type of stuff that irks me. I ain't gonna lie, it does. I'm like, so all this time I done passed up some good bananas thinking about, well, I ain't gonna be able to eat that. That's not gonna be part of my meal plan today. Knowing you needed that potassium. Who tainted the apple? Who made the banana so big and made it? Who thought to take them and make them bigger and taint them and have arsenic and all this stuff in there, and now I can't even get a rich amount of potassium in it, and here it is, it ain't got no seed now. Who did that? That's the kind of stuff that irritates me. Yeah, I admit it. It irritates me because I got my children to feed. My love and my heart says I want to give my family the best. I want to share as a wellness coach and practitioner. I want to make sure that I'm sharing the best of the information with you. That's not going to help kill you or slow down your wellness journey, your victory. I gotta have the best of that information. And if that means, then you gotta wait. Dr. Chef, you gotta wait. You gotta wait for the right investors to come along. You gotta wait. Don't go get in no debt and wind up trying to run off to Africa or somewhere and then think I'm gonna try to hide and glide and get through there and beg people for money. Don't. Yeah, I could have did the same thing, obviously. But my conscience, the love of God is what we call it. I've lived along this earth long enough to know that everything that you do, at some point, it comes full circle. It comes back on you. And there's certain things, come on, y'all. It's sad enough that a lot of us don't have successful marriages and relationships. It's sad enough that we got millions of our men and our women, our children locked up in this prison system. It's sad enough that we got so many of our women that's been molested and raped and still going through the healing process. It's sad enough that we are part of a government that don't mind allowing evil people, wicked people in high places to taint our food. And now you got to think twice, 3 times, 4 times before you pick up something that you can eat that at first you thought was okay. It's sad enough that we live in a place that attacks you to death after you done worked and sweated all day long. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. It's sad enough we got false prophets and preachers out here that's using hide behind the Bible just so they can get to little girls and molest somebody else and hurt somebody else next generation because they don't know how to control their sexual demons. Well, so that they can undermine a woman because they secretly upset and mad and angry because their mother didn't know any better. And so now I got to take it out on other mothers. But I'm going to use the ones that help me to make some money and to make me look good. And vice versa. We got some women doing it too. I'm just not one of them. And I encourage you all not to be either. See, darkness can be contagious. And this is the reason why it's important that we cleanse. I read it earlier from Out of How to Eat to Live Part 2. You all go back and look at that one for Wellness Wednesday. If you missed it, you missed it. You don't have to be a Muslim or have that as your belief in order to learn something. No more than what we did when we had to learn out of those books in school that we knew was lying to us about who he was as a people. But yet you learned some of it, so you can graduate. Most of us did. You still learned 1 + 1 = 2. You learned something. You learned your colors. Go in there and get that knowledge. It helps fasting and purifying the soul. Helps us to not to be evil one to another. It helps purify and take away a lot of that darkness. And that's how you know when people are really truly fasting. And I got sick and tired of that too. I'm not finna come before you all and put you all on the 3 and 4 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 12 day fast, knowing doggone well I'm not fasting at all. Yeah, because y'all sick. You dumb, you stupid. When all along, they're the sick and dumb and stupid one. I said it in that sense. They are, because, and they're angry with self. And this is the reason why it's such a challenge. Not a challenge to make money. It's not a challenge to talk. But it's a challenge to be respectful. And I don't know your situation. I don't know what you've gone through. Even if I knew what you went through, then guess what? That means that I'm held more accountable if I knew that you just lost your loved one. I'm held more accountable if I knew that you been got caught up in the sex trade. I'm held more accountable, right? And that's the reason why this is not always good, even though we can use it for good purposes. And that's the way we need to see ourselves in our lives, even though it's good for you to get in good information. Who and where and the vessel you get it from matters how pure it would be. I get a glass. Simple example. If I get a glass and I gave you water in a dirty glass, unless you was dying for thirst on your last breath, I guarantee you most of us wouldn't take it if you could tell that the glass was dirty. Well, we all filthy and sin and fall short from the glory of God. See, that's that mind game stuff that I'm talking about right there. That's what I'm talking about, the trickery. I'm not for it, y'all. We know we all have imperfections. But that does not give us the right to use it as an excuse to be more imperfect. When you know what the right thing is to do, when you know how you're supposed to talk to your brother and sister, when you know that everybody had their own mind and their own journey. They don't care, you all. Anytime you got to deal with that with anybody in your life, or anybody that you allow to come into your life, even on these airwaves, on this internet. It's the reason why they call it a net. What does a net do? It gathers up, and it'll use any means necessary to gather you up. I'm not getting ready to pay the system no $2,000-$3,000 just so I can get this algorithm going to get in a whole bunch of people. Oh. Because then now I got to switch out more for money. Now I got to pull up my prices. Now I got to play sales games and mind games with y'all just to be able to get. I'm not going to do it. It says, well, Dr. Chef, well, that mean you don't want to be a millionaire. Oh, I can be one. Just not going to be one in darkness. I'm just not going to be one that's done gotten there by manipulating the masses. There are a few. I'll be part of the few. Look, as they say, I'll wait. I've already experienced what it takes to do that. And it's not righteous at all. At all. Y'all be encouraged. I'm going to get you. I can resonate. This says, yes, ma'am. I pray that it helps somebody. Please like and share. Do me a favor. If you cannot give a donation to the Dr.Chef Foundation that I have going here, well, I call it a foundation because, it takes a lot to have to try to do these things. You all keep me in prayers as I keep you all in prayers. I did miss my one call after that, but I believe I can call call them back for they didn't technically schedule the consultation. Hold on one second, you all. I just want you all to know that I really truly love you all to life. I love you all to life, and I do encourage you all to get your How to Eat to Live part 1 and part 2. Get the golden nuggets from out of that book. Also, I still recommend this book too for those of y'all that are concerned about vitamins and minerals by Jewel Bookman. She does an excellent job of teaching us the difference between our ethnic background and culture and others, and the different vitamins and things. So she's been cardiologist for probably over 30 years. Very good book, small book that speaks about the brain, the pineal gland. You don't have to be a doctor or have skills to do these things. That'll be helpful for those of you all that still take vitamins and minerals and fully understanding the effects that certain things have on you. Note that I still have sea moss, moringa, colon cleanse. Right now, running special for anywhere between $25 to $30. Shipping and handling is included. I'm running the $25 consultation for anyone that wants, even if yours is the vet. I know how to purge and cleanse myself from it. Yes, it gets heavy sometimes, but I still have openings, you all. Get your body getting this good. I still have openings. I've done all that I could to stop myself from jumping into anything because it's in my nature to grow and get into some good nitty-gritty work, but I'm trusting the timing of God for me not to do that, so that I can provide more consultations and coaching for you all when I'm not here before you all. And then it also includes the new good exciting things that's coming this year. They got different ones that want to do some plant-based things. The cooking show, I believe I will be able to participate in that, but I may be using some of my younger sisters to encourage our young people to get on the ball, to make it a little easier for us. Weekly. So we got some really good things coming starting off for 2025 that I'm really, really excited about. So those of you all that do believe in the power of prayer, just keep me in prayers that I do that, and I do it with a lot of our good-hearted people that truly do love seeing the progression of us from a loving and truly caring place. Okay. All right. Know that I love you all. You all take care of yourself. And thank you all so much again for tuning in to me, Dr. Hill, a.k.a. Dr.Chef. And remember, don't forget, we got to thrive to survive in 2025. Peace and love, you all.